All right. Welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, I'm your host, Adam Smith, with Just the Tips Coaching. And before I get too deep into the weeds with introducing our guest and letting him talk, I do want to warn everybody that I'm a little bit under the weather. And it occurred to me that was the reason we didn't do an episode last week. Our guest was under the weather. Now, granted, she's 1,500 miles away, but I'm absolutely going to blame her for how I got sick. And before I forget, quick shout out to a member of my team, Mindy Freed, who found out that I was sick, just normal morning team chatter, and literally had chicken soup delivered to my door. It just showed up. So, Mindy, thank you so much. That's obviously a very kind gesture. But let's get on with the show. Let me introduce you guys to this week's guest. If you know him, if you're in the mortgage space, you probably do know him. If you don't and you're in the space, then, well, shame on you. And while not perfect, I do love what this guy brings to the table when it comes to team structure and technology and these kinds of things. And I try not to hold it against him that he is from New Jersey and is an Eagles fan. So if you guys will be tolerant of that, welcome to the show, Matthew Boyce. Hey, Matthew.
What an intro, Adam. What an intro. Thanks so much.
So you and I probably never had the conversation that my family's all Bridge and Tunnel crowd.
Okay.
Like all Bergen County. Alpine, Tenafly. My mother went to Hackensack High.
You know, it's funny. New Jersey it's a small state, but for us in New Jersey, it is
so regional.
It's so reasonable. It might as well be an entirely other state up in North Jersey. We have North, Central, South. We're in South Jersey, which basically means Eagles fans, Phillies fans, Flyers, and then
you're a suburb of Philly.
Your suburb of Philly, and your neck of the woods would be mostly either Giants, Jets, Yankees, Mets. I mean, it's a whole chaotic situation, cluster F up there, right?
I think my first ball game as a kid was the Mets at Shea.
That case in point, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so let's move on with this. Give us a little bit of background. Now, I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on where Matthew came from, how he got into the mortgage space. I do think a little bit of that background information is valuable.
Well, there's a man and a woman, and they love each other.
And there's nothing good on Netflix.
Right, they're chilling with some Netflix.
Right.
I don't want to have to go into the basics with you, Adam.
Well, we do make sure that this is an adults-only forum. So you might be okay giving some of these people a little bit of lesson on the birds.
Feel free to curse incessantly. Okay, gotcha.
We do know that your daughter is with you today because school has not yet started yet. So
she's sitting right here.
Curb it that way too. Excellent. All right. So how long have you been in the mortgage space, Matthew?
Going on 21 years.
Wow.
21 years in the mortgage space.
There aren't a lot of us that have seen that kind of longevity. 21 will actually be the next anniversary of being a broker owner. And I wrote loans for a few years prior to that. So it's similar. Why do I look so much older than you? Unacceptable. It's the humidity, isn't it?
Lots of Botox, Adam.
Yeah. And being in the high desert is messing me all up. In any case, that's a long time. And I'm guessing you didn't start where you are now. I mean, we know lots about Maximus. And there have been a couple of stops along the way that we know of as well. There was a stop at Annie Mac, if memory serves, and Garden State Home Loans. That's probably the longevity of the time I've known you, roughly a decade.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, anyone that's in any industry over the years, you just, you gain all the knowledge and you pick up along the way all the lessons you can. I feel like in the mortgage space, it's like dog years. Every year you're doing this, it's like 7 years off your life.
Yeah.
So
that may be true.
You and I are definitely we're ancient at this point. But
we're less true.
Starting off the space, I love it because it just gives me a whole, really unique, like 4D understanding of what we do here and what we're all trying to accomplish. And more importantly, where we're going, right? Because you start seeing patterns, you start learning from the past, or you try to. I started off at AmeriQuest Mortgage.
Wow. Holy cow.
In
Okay.
2004, and AmeriQuest, I was writing, stated income, all sorts of stuff. I remember I did a mortgage in one day, one day.
Wow.
Those were the days where you wrote on a piece of paper, I, Adam Smith, make $10,000 a year washing dogs' asses every day.
And
And
I'll pay back the money.
yeah, I promise.
I promise.
Give me a
Absolutely.
little neg ham while you're at it. Coffee cozy loan. So I've been doing it a long time, and I've been a banker. I've been a broker, back to a banker, back to a broker. Right now, I am a banker, where we basically have a dozen or so, probably more investors on the back end that we sell to. We service about $1 billion, and we have all the products, and more importantly for us around here, New Jersey has a great, and Pennsylvania have great first-time buyer programs, grant programs, so we have access to that stuff too. So along the years, yes, I've been through all of this, and I've been an individual loan officer. I started capping out at about $100 million in personal production. And when COVID hit, like all of us, we were faced with the most insane environment we could have ever imagined. We've seen rates drop before. We lived through, right after 9/11 is when I got in the mortgage space. So I saw, kind of the turmoil that comes after that in the markets and everything. But nothing could have prepared us for COVID.
For 20 and 21. Agree.
And you're just an influx of business. So I did back-to-back, me and the team, $200 million years.
But there were a lot of us in the business then. Now it's a fraction of that.
Yes.
We've seen like a 90% cut in the people that are qualified to do what we do, that maintain a federal mortgage license, and we haven't seen a 90% drop in mortgage volume.
Correct.
So now I think this is equally insane.
It's equally insane, but it's also a testament to how the larger corporate entities are trying to gobble up all that market share. And so you have the Rockets of the world. We don't even name them. We call them schmocket around here.
Okay.
They who have no name, but
we have no name. I just call them whatever company that is
Schmocket, Schmillo,
overcharging clients so that they can run Super Bowl ads.
Yeah, Schmillo, there's another one.
You're not dropping $40 million on 30 seconds during the Super Bowl?
But you know what? It's just not in my marketing budget this year.
All right.
But it's just a testament to what we're seeing in the business now, and that is having all sorts of people coming into the business, or people are trying to break into my office. So you can see who it is. Got a cutie pie. Got my 7-year-old. And so what's going on right now in our industry is we are oh, my wife's walking in. Oh, it's a live show. Come on in, guys. Come on in.
Oh my!
Listen, we're gonna make it interesting.
A riot.
It's a lot.
Absolutely. Hi, Lisa.
And by the way, this is my wife. My mother-in-law's here. The whole family.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't plan this. We could talk about work-life balance. I'm actually on a live show, but with my dear friend Adam Smith, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. And this is what we try to strive for, just having our work life, our family life, just come together so that we can actually have a life outside of the office, right? And so that's why we have systems, we have process, we have teams that are going to support us, and that way, the few that are left, Adam, the 10%, I think maybe a little bit more than that are left of the career loan officers in this world, we want them to be happy with us. Right?
Sure.
We want our family to actually know our names. So how is it that we're going to do all this business that so many of us were doing in 2021, and so many other loan officers? We still have access to a lot of that market share. How are we going to capture it? And B, how are we going to, not lose our families and our minds in the meantime? That's always the question I ask.
Let's put in there as well that transactions right now are a lot more difficult than they were in the latter half of 2020, 21.
Of course. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, yeah.
So there's a lot more work going into each transaction. There are a lot more transactions because there has been this mass exodus of people that are able to do what we do. So more important than ever are systems, automation, systemization, team. These kinds of things are at the top of the list of things loan originators need to be working on today.
Well, and let's zero in, because we're going to get there eventually, and that's AI and these systems. And every company, including company, whether it's underwriting, it's processing, it's lead gen, it's lead engagement, everybody's racing to implement as much AI as possible and save themselves money. And they could tell you whatever they want, but they're all trying to get to a point where they have the best, the brightest up at the top that are still human beings that they want to employ, and they're trying to replace the rest. And I think that in our business, is it going to be easy? No, but I'm already seeing, because I'm implementing a lot of it myself, and I probably could technically have like 2 or 3 more people on my payroll, but I don't necessarily need them right now because I have AI systems set up.
Right.
So it is getting interesting, but I think that it's also an opportunity like anything. I'm always an abundant mentality person, a glasses half full person. So I'm looking at the opportunity, not necessarily dwelling on the negative here.
I'm not sure that there is any negative to dwell on. The only negative piece of it, I think, is for people that just don't want to do the work.
Right.
If you're willing to work hard, pretty much everything else is a positive.
Well, I kind of look at this business in 2 ways, and this is how I structure my company. There's the hunters, for lack of better words.
No.
You have your hunters and you have your cooks. What are you in this business?
Sales and ops.
And not necessarily ops. I'm talking even just loan officers. Ops knows if you're in ops, you love ops. That's your world. Just in the mortgage space.
In the originator space.
The originator space. Thank you.
Okay. Tell me more, because now you've piqued my curiosity.
So I've just found that, and I'm a big fan of disc profiling and similar personality type profiling. And I just feel like there are people out there that love being the center of attention and going to the networking events and, kissing babies, smacking asses, smacking babies, kissing babies. I forget, one of those two.
Smacking babies. Got it.
Smacking baby, listen, whatever happens in Denver, I don't know what do you guys do out there, but they love that. That's their world. And they love the idea of generating these lifelong or career-long partnerships, relationships, and nurturing them. Then there's the other side of that, where people just are like the structuring of files. They do love talking to borrowers and agents, but they don't really necessarily want to be the ones that start those relationships. And they just love cultivating and submitting just that perfect loan file. I was never that person. I would always get yelled at for having the sloppiest submissions. I would never have the right. I'd be trailing stuff in and be like, yeah, of course I'll get an EMD in there. Of course bank statements are coming. I'll get them later. We don't need them right now. I promise you they make the money. I'm good for it. My word is good. So that's what I recognize. So my company is built like that. And I have a group of incredible internal cooks. We call them the internals. And I have my hunters, my externals, my internals. So now my externals are out there focusing, which that's the key word, focusing on their highest and best use. And they are out there going out there and developing the relationships and making the phone calls and doing the Rick Ruby song and dance of making the lists and making those phone calls, 100 calls on Mondays or whatever you want to do, whatever your plan is. But now they can actually focus the majority of the time on that and moving the needle every day to generate more business, whether it's content or whatever. My internals are plugged in 7 days a week. So when there's a handoff that comes in from the agent, preferably, which we're all templated, process driven here, they jump in, they call the buyer, they send out the templated email, they get the application over, they update the agent. And by the way, the LO, the external whose relationship, maybe they're at an event, maybe they're shooting the content, maybe they're with their families, but now that relationship they generated or built is being nurtured, and those buyers are being handled the way they would want them to be handled. So that's kind of how I've done it. I kind of dove right in here and
Yeah, you did.
bypass some of our other conversations. But that's what I think about every day is how do I just make everyone here more profitable, happier, and where should everyone naturally be as a role instead of forcing an introvert who really doesn't want to be at this event or doing video or all that song and dance, having them do something that they actually want to do and thrive and grow there.
Personality profiles are huge in that space. Being able to identify what is going to make somebody happy, being able to identify the tasks that they're going to be good at, identifying where they are going to get work satisfaction, identifying where they are going to take their role and further it without your involvement. All these things come from knowing DISC, knowing Enneagram, even knowing Strength Finders, and making sure that you know in your processes, whatever that is for you guys, whatever you have as your process, whether you're a real estate agent, loan originator, I don't really care, but knowing those specific steps in your process and knowing the personality profiles of the people on your team, you should be able to get to a point where you can make that perfect meld of having everybody doing the jobs that they're best suited for, doing the jobs that's going to provide them the most work satisfaction. And yeah, I can't emphasize enough how that team, that work, that company culture is always going to trump what you're paying them.
It's funny you bring that up, culture. And just, I think that's an underrated concept these days.
It is.
And having the right culture. There's a great book. I believe it's like It Starts in the Locker Room. It's a Good to Great. Another one. There's all these books talk about. Another book I just read, Traction. Another good one. But all these books are kind of talking about like setting these people up to succeed, and not only succeed but like thrive and just love what they do. And our business, man, I mean, I feel both for the agents. I wouldn't want to be an agent. I mean, I dear friends of mine are agents, and we get to sit, for the most part, kind of sit in an office or sit at, on the other side. We don't have to be walking through a million houses with these crazy people, and hear them talking about how, I don't know this color. I can't do this color. It's called paint. It's paint.
Yeah. Buy a can of paint. Not a big deal.
It's a can of paint. Are you that friggin' blind? Can you not envision anything?
No, a lot of them can't, but that's funny.
But no, what we do is tough. And 20 plus years in the business, just having my wife pop in here was funny because, it's so true, the happy wife, happy life thing. I'm sure there's some saying about the husbands, but that got lost in translation, I'm sure.
Yes, it did.
And but no, it's important. I think that if we're going to get serious for a second, I was really strung out probably 10 years into this business. And it was because I got in 2004. I lived through 2008, 2009, almost lost my house. I was first marriage. Hi, honey. Second time's a charm. But my first marriage, I married a realtor, and she wasn't that good. So when 2008,
as the wife or as the realtor?
Well, a little bit of both.
Okay.
But we won't. But what ATB, my express, all the best. Hope she's doing great. But it was a tough time. There's no business. I had to reinvent everything I did, and almost foreclose. I never missed the payment on my mortgage, but I remember having 2 months in a row had to borrow against a credit card to have enough money to pay my bills. And I just said, look, I'm either going to foreclose on this house, walk away, and not pay these credit cards back, or I'm just going to buckle up and figure out a way to make it happen. And somehow I made it happen.
Hard work.
A lot of hard work. And I was closing down the office every night, just so stressed out. And I got so used to that grind, that hustle mentality that, is so, big on social media. And then all of a sudden I got married to my beautiful, amazing wife now. And we're great. We're actually, this weekend, we're going away for our 10-year anniversary. But I got to a point, I'm like, man, is this life? Is this it? Am I just going to be closing up the office every night at 8:00? Am I going to be out to dinner getting phone calls for pre-approval letters? Am I going to be, in the middle of a cruise and have a 911 emergency and have to remove, this is all true stories, by the way, obviously, but have to remove myself from an entire day of the cruise because a file was blowing up and nobody was there to help me with that file? And, these are the things that I just had to ask myself. And finally, it was out of necessity, not because I'm some kind of forward thinking, marketing or systems genius. It was out of necessity. I had to redesign my world in my career in order to make it a long career and have sanity and a family to go with it.
That is so funny. And granted, years ago, we were all in a similar boat. I remember literally working poolside in Nassau in the Bahamas on vacation. The best one, though, is years prior, I got on a cruise ship, Mexican Riviera, and did not pay for the cell phone service, for the Wi-Fi. So I got on the boat and I put my phone in the safe. Like, it can sit there for the next 2 weeks. That'll be fantastic. We pull into the first port and the safe starts fucking ringing. I was like, okay, this is unacceptable. Yeah, so like, I can't do this anymore. And yeah, I think it was just kind of I just didn't want to do it anymore. Could I be doing it still that way now? Absolutely. Did I get multiple texts from clients yesterday asking me to call them that I waited until this morning to deal with? Absolutely.
You're eating your chicken noodle soup, Adam. You got to let them know.
I will. I will do that when we're done here. I'm going to go, if you got to feed a cold or whatever
it is. And by the way, staying on that topic, how I knew it all was working out was my wife and I went away. We have young kids, 3 and 7. And so we don't get out a lot, by ourselves at least. And we love Key West. It's one of our places that we love going down the Keys.
Great spot.
And we got away for 6 days, 5 nights, 6 days in Key West. And I didn't get bothered one time.
No work, no kids.
No work, no kids. It was the first time since we started having kids that we were able to do that. And even she was like, holy shit, like you did it. Like, I know you talk about doing it, but I was able to, and I talked to him about before. What actually started when I was at AndyMac, Rick Ruby, they brought in as the coach, and he had the core and everything. Now, there's a lot of it I think it's redundant, not necessary, but he did, great guy, got to meet him a bunch, and I devised a lot of what I do now based on that, which is a lot of support. And so I own Maximus Mortgage Advisors now, and Maximus is parked under that banker I was talking about called EMM Loans. But Maximus has the hierarchy of support. And frankly, I pay a shitload of money out of my profit for the support. I have an incredible sales manager. He's salaried and he gets an override on production. I have an incredible marketing manager. I have a team assistant, doing calendar stuff and everything in between, building out spreadsheets. And then I have that internal team. That internal team gets paid for by me out of margin and profitability. So all this support in order for us to do the volume, and the idea is to do more volume and for us to have redundancy. So I'm not the main cog in the wheel at all times. I can take a step out and then let my managers and my team take over. And so it's been a long time coming, and it's been a lot of work to get there, but we're getting here. And it's never going to be perfect, but every day we can move to that goal.
A little better. All we have to do is suck a little less than we did yesterday.
That's right.
Matt, do you own a yacht?
Do I own a yacht?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I own. Let's see. What do I own? That's fun. Okay. I have a quad.
Do you own a private jet?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Okay. Because I've always maintained the mentality that getting into a space like this where you really buckle down to help people. And there aren't that many gigs out there where you can do that and make a good living. I mean, you could be a nurse. I think they're grossly underpaid. Teachers, again, there are a lot of opportunities out there to be in a role where you really get to help people and you're grossly underpaid for it. This is not that. This is a well-paying enterprise if you do it in a wise manner. But I've always been comfortable with the fact that I'm never going to have a yacht or a jet. And if it means things bump, and boy, they sure have as of late, and I think we're in for an enormous influx here shortly, the last quarter of this year, next year, then I'd rather give somebody else a job.
Yeah.
I'd rather help my team.
By the way, Adam, if you wanted a yacht, you'd have a yacht.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And that's the thing. I had somebody, I don't love, I'm not a Bentley guy or any of that, but I like nice cars. And I recently bought a nicer car, and somebody, acquaintance said, gave me their grandfathered in friend from old, and he's a must be nicer. He's a must be nicer, must be nice. And I said to him, I go, if you wanted the house you talk about, the car you talked about, the life you talked about, if you really wanted it, you would have it. I don't think you really want it. And he just looked at me, and then we moved on with our lives. But yeah, I mean, I think
are we going to lay down on the couch and have a little therapy session about self-talk and these kinds of things?
I think a lot of people right now like to complain about a lot of things, especially our business. And
sure.
I think the people that are they come in every day, they're ready. They're like, I'm going to learn some AI. I'm going to do some content. I'm going to learn whatever it is to make their life and their business a little bit better every day. I think those are the ones that are going to be thriving, especially when we hit this little, hopefully, eventual refi boom, which I think we're kind of trickling into it right now with a lot of great opportunity to make your brand aware, everyone aware of your brand, and start growing your audience.
Absolutely. And that should be a key for everybody too. More people consuming more of your content. No question about it. Grow your audience, grow relationships, start relationships, deepen relationships. Yeah, audience. Absolutely. No, I cannot put enough emphasis. And I see a lot of people making missteps when it comes to even what they're doing in AI, but certainly what they're doing in content, that they're not putting that audience first. What do they want to see, hear, read, watch? Not what do you want to see, hear, read, watch?
And I love that you said that, because I think this is a big misconception about content and really marketing in general. And I think people like to sit there and they talk about their products, their experience, their rates, them, and it's not about them.
And not only are they talking about themselves, but they're talking about things that are really fucking boring. We would be hard pressed to find a topic, a subject more boring than mortgages.
Yeah, it sucks.
Tax law.
Yeah,
I don't know. 1920s baseball stats. It's ridiculous.
Everybody hates mortgage. Nobody wants a mortgage. They hate us.
And everybody in your audience already knows what you do.
Yeah, right.
Work on the content of who you are, not what you do. They already know what you do.
There's a great. I'm sure a lot of people are watching or that know this guy, but Alex Hormozy just came out with another book. $100 million models, $100 million leads. He's just one of the guys I like to follow. I think he gets it. And the gist really for him is give people something of value. That's it. So one of the other things that just, kind of touch on this, and we can start wrapping up on it. So one of the ways as someone that wants to partner with high level realtors out there and generate my own leads, I'm a big CRM guy because we talk about process a lot. And I started really diving in 10, 15 years ago, building my own lead funnels and test driving every CRM under the sun. And it sucks. It's really, really hard.
You and I've talked CRMs. About it some over the years, and yes, it sucks.
You've watched me go through it, and they're a lot of our friends. I mean, everyone's like testing out. It's the number when you go on the lab coat agents, you go around the industry. Everyone, what CRM are you on? What CRM on you? Look, in the end, what I ended up doing was I saw a space there. So I created a marketing company. So we have Maximus Mortgage, and now we have Max Marketing. And then I grabbed what I thought was the best real estate CRM, and they white labeled it. They allow me to license it. So I resell it. and I have it with all the bells and whistles and drips and all that crap already built in. Well, we have 200 and some agents now that we host their CRM. We do their trainings, we do their marketing and content. So if you're watching this still, which God bless you if you are, if you're watching this still, what I'll tell you is, one, control the database. Stop focusing on new leads. You have so many people that you've either rubbed shoulders with, they came over for something else, past clients, and I was like, they're forever clients. A good friend of mine, he was a coach, always says they're not past clients, they're forever clients. But leverage not only your clients as a loan originator, leverage all your agents. Why? What I love is I have an agent that comes on board and they go, I have 5,000 people in my database. Great. Where are they? They're in an Excel sheet.
Spreadsheet. I knew that was coming. Good.
And you're going, what the fuck are you doing? Why? When's the last time you've talked to them? I mean, never. So then we take them, we upload them. And then here's what I do. I take my stuff. I talk about my company, about what we can do to help them get pre-approved bridge loans, or the grants, or whatever trigger is going to trigger them to want to have a conversation, along with, yes, we help promote the agent as well. But we start dripping them, and now all of a sudden we just increased our database by 5,000 people, and then 3,000 people, and 500 people, and 10,000. And so that's just to show you how into data I am. That's what we're doing, and we're making sure we're giving something of value. Hey, do you want a list? I keep bringing up these grants, right? But people love them. You want a list of all the grants available in your state and county? Go ahead and just message us back, or type in or message grant or comment grant, whatever you want to do. And so we build a buyer's guide for all of our agents that's in Canva that they can edit, make look awesome, brand it to themselves, and then send that out along with whatever it is. Create something of value and give it away for free, and you'll be really surprised by how many people will then in return give you a name, email, phone number.
And that's what it's about. Contact management.
No
question. One of the most important pieces. And it's funny because we talk about the core, and we could even go so far back as like Zig Ziglar, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, decades ago. And still, contact management is why the core still works. It's why Ninja still works. It's why Buffini, and I love Brian, it's why it still works. Contact management still has to be at the top of one of your lead gen activities. No matter how you're doing it, no matter how automated it is, how systemized it is, I don't care. But if you are walking around with a 5,000 person contact database in an Excel spreadsheet, and you're in sales, real estate, mortgages, life insurance, I don't care, automobiles, it doesn't matter. You're find a CRM, whatever it is. Call Matt. He'll set you on up.
Yeah, and it's as simple, guys, just an actionable item. You sit down with an agent, you ask them what they're doing with their database and how they're dripping them. When's the last time they contacted them? How do they sing in front of people? All that stuff. And if they're like, I don't know, message, I'll give you everything you need to know. But figure out, I don't care if they have one through their brokerage or you want to find one, I'll give you a suggestion for one. But then organize their life, and then go out on Amazon, buy a $100 green screen, and just start shooting content with them. Interview them, do podcast style. You can go on ChatGPT and say, literally, hey, I'm sitting down with Adam Smith. We want to manage their database, and we want to create engagement. It'll write me 5 scripts that I can do with this agent, and then just keep talking to it. That's how easy our world is right now. It's just you need to take action.
Oh, you mean actually do the work?
Oh yeah, right. I forgot. There is a little bit of work.
We still have to do the work. Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you, Matt. This has not been exactly the path I had foreseen us having a conversation about, but ridiculously good content. So we'll have to book another episode with you and talk about some other things. But before I let you or anybody else go, as it were, how do we find you? So you can email me anytime at mboyce. So M is in Matt, B is in boy, OYCE. And that's at maxloans.com. You could just go to maxloans.com. But obviously, nobody does email anymore or any of that crap. Instagram is at It's Matt Boyce. And I think all my TikTok, everything is It's Matt Boyce.
is where you can find me. And by the way, I'll leave you one last thing. Last thing, because this is what's got me so excited right now.
Okay, we got a nugget coming here.
All right. This is primarily going to loan officers, real estate agents, right?
Yes.
All right. Listen, what are we all trying to get? We're trying to get consumers. As a loan officer, our biggest lead source usually are real estate agents. Okay. And we love you. We love you. I promise. We talk a lot of shit about you, but in the end, we do love you. Okay. So I look at it as a big pie chart. Where's my business coming from? Past referral, past clients we talked about. Realtors is a big slice of pie. Then we have a little social media. I like to do dances on TikTok. Have you ever seen Adam? It's incredible. He does the percolator like no one else. It's really amazing. And so remember that?
I can mash potato.
So I've created a new slice of pie. It's consumer direct, and I've been working on it for over a year. And I am leveraging AI to run ads, to build funnels. And I'll tell you the funnels I'm doing. I'm doing first-time buyer. I'm doing divorce, first-time seller, and I'm doing refi. So I'm doing 4 funnels right now, which is just targeting those people and running ads on it, doing good video, giving something of value away. And I got to tell you, it is an entire different world. I'm loving it. And I think that what is the holy grail as a loan officer to be able to generate a buyer, pre-approve that buyer, have them ready to rock and hand them to one of our very amazing, deserving referral partners and work together as a team. Like that's an everlasting partnership relationship, if you ever ask me.
Agreed. Absolutely. Brilliant stuff from Matthew Boyce, even with interruptions from wife and children and mother-in-law.
My
mother-in-law came in. That was something. That's a first for, we've been doing this, 8 years? I don't think we've ever seen a mother-in-law before. So yeah, very cool stuff. All right. Because we're running over, I'm going to cut the wrap up short. Matt, thank you. I know carving out this kind of time on a Monday is not an easy thing to do. For the rest of you, if you want to see other episodes of How I Met Your Mortgage, catch the weekly video blog, the weekly little tip. If you want copies of my books, if you want whatever, go check out justthetipscoaching.com. All that shit is there. And I promise I will get Matt booked for another episode because, we could probably talk for 12 straight hours and still not cover all the content that would be valuable for LOs and agents.
Well, I'll give you all the results from all that stuff I talked about. I'll have them in by then.
All right, we'll do that next year. So for the rest of you tuning in, thanks for listening or watching. You can catch us live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube on Monday mornings at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. And a mere 48 hours later, the podcast is up on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. You guys have a great week, and we will absolutely see you then.
Thanks, buddy.